Let me pull up our questions. So for all you guys joining us, um, this is Roofer to Roofer. So we are here to answer your questions. And we have our own kind of questions that we've queued up that we'll answer if no one else has questions. But if you guys have anything you want to ask us, ask Scott, ask me. Scott more on the roofing business side, me more on the roofing technology side. Then hit us with those. Otherwise, we'll jump into what we have. All right. Docs all. All righty. And if you guys have questions, you can put them in the Q&A section at the bottom of Zoom, and we'll go from there. So a question just popped in. So Adam asks, how was your first 2 years in business? I'm assuming this is directed at you, Scott.
Yeah, awful, terrible. Just worked a lot. I mean, and it was not real profitable. Unfortunately, I was not educated enough to hire a coach or hire outside consulting to kind of learn how to run a business. So I don't want to say it was the first two, it was the first five. The first five were brutal. And beginning of year five, I hired a coach, and that was when my business really started changing. And getting a little bit of guidance that I had no idea. I knew how to swing a hammer, shoot a nail gun, read a tape measure. I was a carpenter slash roofer. So, but trying to figure out how to do bids and time manage and run books and do all the stuff that you have to do to actually run a successful business. It wasn't there. And luckily I got smart, realized that, I was losing tens of thousands of dollars every year. Not that I was taking that big of a loss, but I was leaving that much money on the table because of the lack of success. So I hired a business coach. I paid a lot of money. I was paying $1,500 a month. Hindsight, I would have paid $5,000 a month. It was that valuable of an experience for me to really, and I'm not telling you that because I sell like a coaching service, because I really don't. I'm happy to chat with people, at no cost. That's not what I'm trying to promote. I'm promoting the fact that if you don't know, find somebody that does, because it's way cheaper to pay them to teach you than it is to learn by yourself. Because I learned all self-taught, and it just, there's no value in it. Who knows where I'd be today if I didn't hire that first business coach? I may still be banging my head against wall. I may have said hell with it and hung it up and just went and found a job, because I was not far from that point. My frustration was that high.
Yep. Um, that's really good advice. Also, so we recently had a conversation on the Big Roofs podcast with John, and we had Nicole Schwartz on Ascent Roofing, her first year in business, and we had a really good conversation about how they're approaching it. And I think her and her husband are approaching it in a really good way, which is they're really staying lean with their costs. So I think that's a big thing that's easy to fall into, is just sort of spending way too much money on your website, spending way too much money on your trucks, and thinking that, oh, I got to spend money to make money, which is true to a certain extent. You do have to spend money to make money, but you do need to be tactical about where you're spending that money and make sure that you're putting it into things that are going to have a fairly quick return on investment. And you do need a website, for example, but the way that Nicole was doing it, which I complimented her on, was she had it built on Wix. She had done it herself. She built it on Wix. It looked great, and it was perfectly sufficient for first couple years in business. And she was actually rebuilding it again herself. There comes a point where you want to go out and maybe hire an agency to build everything, make it super snazzy and nice and everything you could ever want. But that's not going to be your first couple of years in business. So that's my perspective on it.
Yeah, I agree. It's amazing to see all these young guys getting started. I say young, I'm only 33, but young in business, and seeing I've got a couple guys in a mastermind group that I chat with that are very, very fresh, very new to business. And they were smart enough to have some coaching early on. And man, they're in year 2 and they're crushing. Like they're killing it. They're doing, $3 million in their second year in business, $4 million, $5 million in their third year, and really profitable. But they were intelligent enough to get help and get somebody to guide them, because they don't teach this shit at school. Like this is not something you learned at high school. This is something I don't even think a higher level education gets you. You can have a business degree. That doesn't mean you're going to come out and be a roofing contractor and be successful. That's not how this works. You need to talk to other guys or women that have had success in a similar space, and how they, find out how they did it. There is good advice out there. It's not on Facebook typically, but there's good advice out there. You might find the right person on Facebook to talk to, but you need a deeper conversation than what, like a social media conversation allows.
Yeah. Yep. Um, for those just joining us, we're going through answering questions. If you have any questions, put that in the Q&A. Ted, I see your question here. We're gonna answer that next. But for anyone else who have additional questions, put it in that Q&A section at the bottom of Zoom. If anyone else has insights or thoughts on these questions that we're answering, please feel free to put those in the chat separately as well. So, all right. So we'll get to Ted's question here. Ted's question is, what advice can you offer for where to find new sales recruits?
Ted teed up exactly what I've been working on this today in particular. I just hired a new sales guy Monday, essentially 3 new sales guys Monday, all in one area. One of them is starting now. 2 of them start in 2 or 3 weeks. But I'm so excited to talk about it because it's finally, it's real. It came to life. So this one guy, I found him on social media. And the reason I found him was because he's just a self promoter. And I feel like good sales reps should self promote. Like that's sales is their business. And one really easy, free way to sell is through social. So, if you're building your own personal brand with my company's name, or the old company's name that they worked for behind all of it, you're really, really promoting my business, and you're creating sales for yourself. And I love it. So I seen this guy promoting. I knew he wasn't the business owner. I knew he was a sales rep, and I knew he was crushing it on Facebook. Every time he'd post something, he'd get like 20 shares, which is incredible when it was just simple posts, right? So I reached out to him a few months ago, kind of jived up a conversation, nothing fancy, just kind of shooting the breeze a little bit, because I know he's in a market. It's not far from me, whatever. And we've kind of had a lingering conversation going on for a while now. And I've been wanting to hire him. And I finally pulled the trigger, made him an offer. He accepted. It was the right time for him to move on from the existing company. It wasn't bad relationship or nothing. It was just the right time. And yeah, I mean, it ended up, he said, hey, I've got 2 guys that work underneath of me currently. Would you be interested in taking them on? So what was essentially a potential 1-person hire just turned into a whole team hire. And I said yes. So we'll see how it goes. Time will tell if it was a good call for me and for him. I mean, it's got to be a good fit for the employee too. Just because they don't work out with you doesn't mean they're bad employees. It just means it just wasn't a good fit. So hopefully it's a good fit. So I'm excited. I have had a lot of success on Indeed as well. That's been over the years. I don't know how relevant Indeed is. I know ZipRecruiter's it feels like it's kind of carving out a space there too. But my best hire I ever made was off Indeed. So, that was big. The last one where we've had some success is just through local relationships. Guys that like one of my guys, I knew he had been in sales for years, he never really sold in this kind of environment, but he understood sales well, and we pulled the trigger with him, and yeah, he's still here too. So I mean, those are the channels that we've had success in.
That makes sense. If you create a great work environment, that tends to inspire the people that you have to bring their friends, relevant friends on board as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That local community is huge.
Hmm. All right. Adam asks, is there a way I can join the mastermind group you have going, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. Just email me if you would. I can put it in the chat, maybe. Is
Yeah.
that possible?
Yeah. Put it in the chat. Just make sure you send it to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat now.
Okay. All right. The next question here from Angel. I'll let you put that in the chat, Scott.
Go ahead. I don't really know what I'm doing. Host and panelists.
Make sure, yeah, click on that and then make sure it's on everyone.
It doesn't allow me to do everyone. You might have to copy and paste.
I can, yeah, here. Oh, there we go.
It only lets me go to you or to host and panelists or AJ.
Okay.
Got me restricted.
There we go. I just sent it out. So Adam, you can
Yeah, just
email.
email me. I'll get you in next Thursday.
Perfect. All right. Angel asks, do you have a workflow slash customer journey that you follow?
Yeah, it's pretty elaborate to explain, but yeah, we absolutely it's on ProLine. Yeah, I'm training the new guy this morning. We did a big walkthrough exactly of our customer journey. Um, they come in as a lead from whatever source. I mean, we can get into that another question, but they come in as a lead. We book an appointment via phone call. We always pick the phone up, try to have a phone call conversation. Then we're scheduling that appointment over the phone, setting an appointment, go to the appointment, write the quote. Our goal is to always hand a quote to the customer while we're there, like on the spot. We want to quote that job. So we don't want to leave without them receiving a price. Then they go into a follow-up campaign through ProLine, all automated. They get nice sales follow-up for a duration of time. Hopefully they sign a contract, and then, we get into production. So once they're into production, it's pretty simple. We're scheduling the material delivery, scheduling labor, staying in touch with the customer throughout, mostly through automation. So I actually think if you YouTube, not to dismiss the question at all, but I go into pretty good detail. I did a YouTube video. It's on ProLine's YouTube, exactly answering this question and walking through customer journey and how we do it. But yeah, it's definitely on there. It was one of the longer ones I did. I think it was like 10 or 12 minutes long.
Yeah, let me see if I can find that real quick. I'm just gonna search Scott T-Bay. We got so many videos of you on here. It was it called Customer Journey or was it called something else?
I can't remember. I really can't remember. I could look.
Let me see, walk through.
I'll answer Ted's question while you're looking, if that sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
So go
well,
ahead.
um, yeah, go ahead.
You're going to have to answer James because that's not my thing.
Yeah,
So
we'll come back, James, to your question, but Ted, you can go ahead and jump to Ted's.
yeah. So the question is, we have had great success with insurance agents sending repeat business. The challenge is getting in the door. Any advice? I don't know that I've got a ton of advice on that. We have also insurance agents are good, realtors are good. I know everybody talks down on realtors, but if you can make a couple solid relationships with some higher level realtors in your market, they can absolutely pass leads. Home inspectors, we've got a great relationship with. I'd say he's the biggest home inspector in our little town. But he passes us leads. The other one is property managers. So like there's a company here locally called Silver Hills. They, manage condos and townhomes and apartments and different things. And they've been great to work with too. So any of those kind of clientele that can offer repeat business is great. Getting in the door, so what we found, with not necessarily insurance, but all of the rest, is we kind of get in the door by offering some repair work. So for instance, this is not really great for insurance, but everyone else I just mentioned, this works. Real estate agent, they've got a house they're trying to sell. You've been, beating that drum, trying to get a chance with them. They've got a house they're trying to sell and it needs a small repair. Go do the repair for free. That starts the relationship. Now they know you're legit. Now they know that you want to work and you want to do business with them. Now the next time they get one comes through that isn't a repair, but it's actually, oh, this thing, it has to be replaced for me to put it on the market, they're going to call you. Same with the property owners, property management companies. They need someone, they've probably got a guy already. You just have to be there when that guy drops the ball, and it might be a chintzy little shitty repair. That's okay. Go do the little chintzy shitty repair, and then now you're their guy. So you just have to be there when they need you, because every one of these people, insurance, realtor, whatever, they all have a roofer. You have to become the roofer. So you have to step up when the other guy fails. That would be my advice.
That makes sense.
You found it.
I did. Yeah, I put the video in the chat. So that's the link to the video of Scott's process on ProLine. For those just joining us, we're this is Roofer to Roofer, so we're just answering questions. If you have questions for us, for either Scott or myself, please put that in the Q&A at the bottom of Zoom. And then we're just going through everyone's questions right now, and or we'll start going into the ones we have queued up if we need to. James asked, how do you target Facebook advertising? And then how do you target Google ads? So, I am not going to go too deep on this because I don't run Facebook ads personally, and I don't run Google, neither do I run Google ads. I know from a high level because I used to run an agency, the effectiveness of these, but not step by step how to set them up or run them. We would like to bring a more marketing focused person back on this show at some point, but um, Facebook advertising, the issue with Facebook advertising for roofing, it's not that it's not effective. It can be effective, but the problem is that you're shotgunning a massive portion of the population that may or may not need roofing, because people need roofing at only a one. Some people never need a roof. Some people need a roof one time in their life, maybe two times, maybe three times. And so you have these very, very short amounts of time where someone actually needs a roof, and there's no way through Facebook to target just those people. If you target people that, like or have an interest in roofing, which Facebook allows you to do, that does not in any way indicate that person currently needs a roof. They may just have a friend that has a roofing company, or they got invited to like a roofing page, or maybe they work for a roofing company, or it might even be your competitors. So that's the main issue there. My advice with Facebook ads is always use it to brand build. Use it as a way to get more eyeballs on your brand. Just like putting signs out around your job sites. It's not necessarily that like the people that are going to see that need a roof right now, but if you can increase brand awareness, that will come back and help you later. But you want to be mindful, like you don't necessarily want to put, thousands or 5,000 or $10,000 a month into just something that gets more eyeballs. So keep your budget realistic and realize that you're probably not going to get any immediate return on that Facebook advertising. Anything you want to add to that, Scott?
Yeah, I could throw two things in here, one for each. So Facebook, I'll give you a little feedback. we've had little to no success with Facebook ads this year, but I will throw in this. So this new guy that I just hired, like I said in the beginning, he's a savage on social media. Like he's very, very self-promotional. He just started this week. Today, we just did training. Mind you, it's going to be an ongoing training. So he's not got free reign yet, but he does have free reign to start trying to generate some leads because he has always self-generated leads. He went into the city, the biggest city in his market, and made a post to the group in that city. And all it was an introduction post. It was just, hey, I'm Zach. I'm a dad, a husband. I like hunting, fishing, and I work for Rainstoppers Roofing. If you've got any roofing issues, please feel free to reach out with any questions or problems. I'd love to help. It got shared 26 times in 2 hours. Now, I haven't looked for a while because that was earlier today. It got shared 26 freaking times. You know how many eyeballs saw that are in that market? Like, if it got shared 26 times, 26 people saw it and read it completely. But all 26 of those put that into their news feed. Who knows how many of their friends actually got to view that and what kind of success. I can tell you this, he got 4 leads off that freaking post. I didn't get 4 leads off $10,000 worth of Facebook ads. Organic Facebook to me is the way, but it's in these groups. It's on your own page. And I know people poke at me for this, but maybe it's even boosting posts to your little local markets around, uh, job sites. If you got a job site going on in a town, maybe it's throwing a $10 boost at that post just to get some more eyes on it that aren't currently following your page. That's my take on Facebook. I like organic Facebook. With Google, I like Google LSA. Either work really hard to rank on Google. I would do that by updating your GMB page daily, photos, updates, updating your website. I just use Company Cam, and we use the showcase feature in Company Cam to keep updating our website, new pictures on our website constantly. And then Google LSA is a great tool. It's become much less effective this year than last year. You got to set a really high budget. But right now, we're only paying about 50, $60 a lead. And that's a qualified lead. That's somebody that is absolutely looking for your services and booking an appointment. We're getting 2 or 3 a week through there. It's not a ton, but I only pay per lead. So I don't pay unless I book that appointment with somebody. If I throw 10 grand at Facebook, yeah, I might get 50 people interact with that ad, but I might not. I can tell you I did it, and I think we booked 3 or 4 appointments. We didn't sell a single job. So, and that was $10,000. So, with LSA, you kind of have some control of that spend, and then organic Facebook's where I feel the success is at.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, with the Google stuff, you're inherently targeting people that have an interest. They're searching for the product. So it's just so much more in line with something like roofing.
Yeah,
Um, and but yeah, totally agree. The organic ultimately, unfortunately, like you're not just gonna put money into Facebook and get leads, but the organic, and I love that. I love boosting. So the thing with boosts is people kind of look down on it, but the thing is, and yeah, if you're running a lot of money, you don't want to be through Facebook ads. You don't want to be boosting because there's very little tracking ability. It's like you have a lot less control. But for small amounts of money to put behind a post that's already getting good organic reach, just to continue to expand eyeballs on that post, um, it's not only is it a good way to do that, but also um, I firmly believe that you get more bang for your buck on boosting the normal Facebook ads, because Facebook is aware of who's boosting. It's a small business owner that needs to see fairly immediate results in order for them to then boost again in the future. So they're, I mean, it's hard to prove this, but my guess would be that you're actually getting more bang from your buck on a boost, especially on smaller amounts of money, 50, $100, something like that, than you would with regular Facebook ads.
AJ, we build our business on $20 Facebook boosts. It's $20. That's what we'd
Yeah,
spend on each one.
there you go,
We
20
did we
bucks.
do it 3 times a week. We do it like Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and we run them for 3 days a piece, so they'd overlap a little bit,
Yeah,
right? And that's all we did. That's literally how we built our business, was $60 a week on boosting Facebook posts. And we've got, it's not a ton, but we got I don't know, like 2,500 followers on Facebook. For a roofing company in my area, I can tell you, I think the next best guy's got like 300. So boosting posts, it does work. There is success in that.
yeah, I love it. All right. If you guys have any more questions, please do put those in the Q&A section. Otherwise, we will move on to some of the ones we got queued up, but we'll watch out for any other questions you guys have. All right, question here that I have on our list. Should I offer a maintenance program for my customers?
Yes, if you're in commercial. We have kind of looked at it and tried it in residential. I just don't think it works. I think now I don't want to say that. I know some guys up in the far northern part of the country that have winter maintenance programs, snow removal, like to remove the weight off of the roof, things like that. And then there's some guys out in like Seattle area. One guy in particular that I know, I think it's Seattle he lives in, or the greater Seattle area. They have a ton of moss that grows on roofs, so they do moss removal. You might have a brand new roof, and because it's so wet out there all the time, they'll have moss on the roof after 3 years. So they do a maintenance program for that. But anywhere south of that, it's really, really difficult because residential, especially like shingle roofs, the only maintenance to really do is to recaulk your flashings and boots and blow the debris off the roof and maybe clean the gutters. So there's not a ton. The gutter cleaning is literally more than the roof maintenance. There's companies that just clean gutters and they charge like $200 a shot. So, you know, I'd much rather keep my focus on my $15,000 ticket and put roofs on it every single day than try to chase around $200 gutter cleaning projects, essentially, just because that's not what we're built for. Now, if I had 20 guys out cleaning gutters all day every day for $200 a shot, fantastic. It's just not the business we built. I think it's a different business. If you're in commercial, though, there's absolutely a market for it, because commercial maintenance might be, a five to, depending on the size, might be a five to $25,000 ticket, doing legitimate maintenance to, a flat commercial roof that has to be done. Or maybe it's, you're offering that, and then you go up there and look, and you realize, well, this roof is a little bit past just maintaining. Let me put a coating on this roof, and that'll get you another 10 years out of this system. And it comes in at half the price of a full re-roof, or a third of the price of a full re-roof. So I think if you're in commercial, when I decide to take the plunge and like really truly chase commercial work, which I hope to next year, we will absolutely offer that as a service. It just doesn't make much sense in residential roofing.
Yep. Yeah, it makes sense. I've just seen so many attempts at it. The thing is, it's all about just the value in the mind of the consumer. And so they have to understand and see a clear value that you're creating on a monthly basis if they're going to pay monthly or whatever it is. Maybe it's quarterly, whatever it is. They got to be able to see, okay, what am I getting for that?
Yeah.
And if you can show something because you're in an area you can, then yeah, but
The
it's tough.
best you're going to get is an annual deal, right? So the best case scenario is you can figure out a way to sell an annual deal. The guy in Seattle, the guys in northern part of the country where they get tons of snow, they can figure out an annual deal or it's I assume it's just like snow plowing. You're paid per visit, but you're under contract every time it snows so many inches, you're going to do it, you know. Um, but everywhere else in the country, I think it's just irrelevant because what are you actually going to? You don't need to caulk the flashings every year. If you do, you're using some trashy ass caulking. You know what I mean? Like that just doesn't make sense, and the customer's not going to pay it because they're not experiencing leaks. They don't see any issues on the roof. Why are they going to pay you, say, even $200, which you can't go there for less than $200? So you can't do it for $75 because you're just going to take a loss. Then the time you pay somebody to drive there and get a ladder out, $75 is gone. So yeah, that's my thought on it.
Yeah. Yep. Makes sense. All right, guys, if you have any other questions, please put that in the Q&A section. Otherwise, we'll just keep answering ours. Next question I got here is how can we effectively qualify roofing leads?
I think it all starts with the first phone call, you know, just asking the right questions. Depending on your business, those are questions you'll have to determine on your own. But, you know, for us, it's, you know, asking, are they looking for a re-roof or are they looking for a repair? If they're looking for a repair, we still do them, but we may cut that out shortly. Um, but we're going to find out what it is they're looking for. You want to find out, you know, do they have a budget in mind? Um, Things like that. I mean, the problem is I'm saying all this shit and I'm not practicing it. So the reason is this year's been so difficult of a year for contractors. We have changed our mindset. We used to qualify hard. Like we last year, man, you had to answer like 6 questions to get an appointment booked. And if you couldn't answer them, we probably weren't going to book it until you could. This year, if you'll just call us, we'll book a damn appointment with you. If we can get in front of you and have a shot, because we're still closing at a really good rate. We just need to get in front of people right now. You know what I mean? So if we can book the appointment, whether it's a repair or you don't have a clue what you want or you have no budget in mind, right now we don't care. We're wanting to get in front of people and give ourselves opportunities because the opportunities right now are just so hard to come by. So I like to qualify leads, but right now, if you can dial our number, you're qualified.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It kind of goes up and down. I think,
Just like pricing, right?
yeah,
Your backlog gets way out, you start inching your pricing up to help kind of manage that backlog.
yeah,
Your backlog gets to here, you better get your pricing down a little bit so you can stay active, stay in the environment.
yeah,
It's the same thing. I mean, business is a tricky beast, and you just got to play the game constantly, and everything's changing. No matter what, I was doing those trainings this week, and I've had some old videos and old documentation, and I say old, it was only like 10 months old, one very old. It's all irrelevant because we've literally changed our sales process, we've changed our customer journey. Everything that we've done in the last 10 months is changed from prior to. So it's, if you're not willing to adapt and keep getting better, and even if it's not to get better, it's just to you know, tighten your business up because it's a rough year. It's just the shit you got to do to adapt and stay successful.
yep. Makes sense. All right.
Surely that Jennifer has a question at some point, I would think.
Hit us with your questions, Jennifer. All right. How can roofers ensure proper ventilation in attics to prevent moisture problems?
Say that again.
How can you ensure proper, how do you ensure proper ventilation in attics to prevent moisture problems?
We've got a calculator. GAF's got a calculator. So everything we do, we try to use ridge vent on. Um, it just looks the best. You don't have the whirly birds up there. You don't have the big slant backs. It's a lot cleaner look. So that's what we want to install. And GAF has a calculator. You determine the square foot of the attic space versus the linear footage of ridge vent. Honestly, I don't know the science behind it. I just know that I do it to what the manufacturer recommends. We don't really have any issues with it. I have every once in a while someone will say, well, I feel like, my attic is not as cool as it used to be when I had 10 box vent or 10 whirly birds on my roof and you replaced it with ridge vent. It's like, well, this calculation is also because of your climate. It's not always hot here. It does get cold here too. You don't want your attic to be 20 degrees in the wintertime. You want it to hold just a little bit. There's a science to that. You don't want it open to atmosphere. It's supposed to vent a certain amount, right? And maintain a certain amount. So you got to be willing to take some trade off. It's not going to be perfect temperature up there all the time. That's just not realistic.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's a good point. Is it's actually kind of a balance between both. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
if you're in South Florida, you might be a totally different story. You're going to want as much ventilation as you can. You don't experience, we get 0 degree weather here. Well, that attic's 0 degrees, bet your ass it's cold inside. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That furnace is running nonstop. So it's a balance.
yeah. Um, all right. I think we had a question from Adam here. Do you offer other services other than roof replacement, such as soffit, fascia, gutter, or solar?
Oh yeah, yeah. And last year we really didn't. Again, this year we our crews are very capable of siding, soffit, fascia, gutter, and even windows. We don't sell windows typically. We have a contract that we've picked up that does require a little bit of window installation, so we do it. but siding, we've actually we're doing a big siding job right now. We just sold one yesterday. Nice siding job, and that includes, I believe, both of those were siding, soffit, fascia, gutter. Um, it's the same journey though. It's the same process. It's the same everything. So those those are those are services that really don't change our tactic at all. It's real simple sales. You know, pick a color. We even in our siding sales though, we don't offer moldable profiles. So we offer a D4 Dutch lap. That's it. We don't offer a straight lap. We don't, and that's vinyl. Um, we will do smart side, which we almost never sell, but it's similar to Hardy, but it's a wood composite wood type product. Um, but yeah, we're very, very niche in those services, I guess, just to keep it as simplistic of a sale as roofing is. So we don't really have to change our process to sell those.
Have you ever looked at solar?
It's irrelevant in my area. Nobody can afford it. Unfortunately, we've looked at it multiple times. I can't, honest to God, I could drive around this area and it'd take me weeks to find a freaking house that has solar on it. No, nobody does it around here. I know of a couple. We've, I mean, you know, the amount of re-roofs we do, which here locally is a boatload. I can only think of maybe three houses we've ever had to, and I'm talking bid, not that even we did, but bid. I can only think of like three, maybe four houses that we have bid that required solar disconnect and reconnect. It's just it's not worth the training and the education to sell it because nobody around here. There's guys that do it around here. They're not local typically, but if people wanted it, they could absolutely get it, and they're just not getting it.
Yeah.
I think it's a fantastic service if your market supports it. It's just unfortunately here it's so rural. Hell, people's got free gas. They got wood stoves. Like nobody gives a shit about solar around here. It's just
Free
not a
gas?
no. Oh yeah, I got a gas well on my farm.
Oh,
Yeah,
you have
there's
a gas well. Just taking natural gas out of the ground?
it's
I've never
everywhere.
heard of that.
Oh my God.
That's wild.
Everywhere I've ever lived. Well, I don't want to say everywhere. My dad's house, my last house, my father-in-law's house, all on gas wells.
That's fantastic. That's
Well,
hilarious.
we you don't own them. Gas
You
company
lease
owns them,
them?
but part
Oh,
of the contract is you typically get free gas to one home
oh, okay. So like
if you're the landowner.
and
So
they
that's
take the
usually the way the
excess?
lease is written.
Do they take the excess?
Yeah, and then that's their profit. That's what they make money on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh. That's really interesting. Yeah. Cool. Well, how's the tree cover in your area? Is there a lot of tree coverage?
that's part of it too. Between the hills, because we're in Appalachia, lots of hills, lots of big. I'm not in the mountain-ish part. I'm just kind of out of that, but it's super hilly, like it very hilly.
Mm,
Plus, everything's wooded. I
yeah.
mean, my house, right where it sits, there's no tree cover on. I could put solar on my house and actually probably have decent luck with it. But most homes in this area, it's just difficult. It's just difficult to make it make sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Um, my cousin has a solar company in out in Wyoming, and there's no trees.
Right.
Very
Yeah.
flat, no trees. It's
Yeah.
perfect. He is crushing it.
Yep.
And it's probably it's in Casper. It's probably a similar sized town to maybe a little bigger than Athens. What do you guys have? 100,000 population?
My whole county's like 38,000.
Oh,
Whole
yeah. So we're
county,
small.
not
Wow.
city. City's like 12,000 if I remember right.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's
Um.
so funny. I had a call with a guy today. I gotta tell you this. I had a call with a guy today, and he was going. Well, it was Dima. That's who it was.
Oh
The
yeah,
the
Dima.
SEO school, and we were talking about these pages and stuff that he does. And he's like, I said, well, the one market we're moving into is pretty big. Like it's a big city. And I told him it was Morgantown, West Virginia. And so he's like right on it, and he's searching population. And I think it was, if I remember right, I think it was about 40,000 in that city. And to me, that's a big city. He's like, yeah, for what we're doing, we're typically dealing with cities with like 400,000. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, we're not that big. I thought that was a big city. I guess it's not.
That's funny. Oh man. Yeah. I'm I guess yeah, I think of Casper as a small town. I think they have about 100,000. And but because I'm used to Atlanta, and it's like I don't know, I think it's like 3.6 million in the metropolitan area or something like that.
Dude, it was
Maybe
brutal when I
more.
came down there. I was like, what in the world is going on here? This is like complete chaos.
Yeah. Nobody tells Scott about New York.
I drove my freaking 40-foot motorhome through New York City, pal.
That's terrible.
Bumper to bumper. Like Yeah, I needed a Xanax and a cocktail after I got out of there. It was
Oh my
unbelievable.
goodness.
But yeah,
Oh
no, I
man.
get it. It's just funny because what I think's big is to the rest of the world still just a little redneck town, you know. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, that is funny. Um, all right. I think we got time for maybe one, two more questions. If you guys got any questions, please do put those in the chat. We'll answer one more from our list, and then we'll see if you guys have anything. Um, all right. So here's the question. As a roofing business owner, is building a personal brand important?
Absolutely, 100%. And I was really good at it early on. Um, on social media, and I don't even want to say I was good at it because I actually really wasn't great at it. But social media, I was promoting my business constantly. But I feel like I'll tell you who I've met recently that I think, from an outsider perspective looking in, looks like he's doing a really good job is John Starry. Like on his website is a picture of him, and from what I can see, everything he's doing, he's not just building his business, but he's building his personal brand. Like, you know, the face behind the desk, you know what I mean? And I've never really done that. I've the amount of people that think my dad, because that my dad was always in construction, the amount of people that think my dad owns this company is unbelievable still. um which is fine. I've always been okay with that because I just didn't ever really want the local spotlight, I guess. I didn't really want people, I didn't care. I didn't really, you know, I liked my privacy. I liked being left alone. Um, but if you want to really be successful, I think you have to understand that you are the business. Even if you work yourself out of it, like I feel like I've kind of worked myself back to a position where I'm not in daily operations. I'm not really managing stuff. Um, but I'm still the face, like whether I like it or not. And if I would promote it harder, I think it would do even better.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough doing a personal brand though.
It is tough.
Yeah. It's I found it to become easier once we had a more of a team. For me personally with ProLine, I found it easier once there was a team, and then I felt like I was doing it for the team, doing it for the company and for the team. Um, but yeah, all right. So, any other questions from you guys? Just put those in the Q&A. Well, I guess we'll do one more question from our list. Oh, why did I do that? I closed it down. 1 second. All right. What's a good one here? All right, so here's a question, good question. Is it worth it to build local partnerships in our community for leads?
For sure. One of the best lead sources you can get is referral partners. We just had one we sold today. It A local tree company that we've got a referral partnership with. And I written, it's not like these are like long-term friends of mine. We've just done a little bit of business together over the years. And you know, he they had that we had a they had a customer with it. Actually, it was two jobs. One was just a repair, which we made some money on, and the other one was a replacement. Both of them had tree limbs fall on their house. We had a little, it wasn't even much of a storm, but it was a little windstorm. And that just happens, you know, when you got tons of trees around your house. And we just sold the one today that was a full replacement. And both of those leads came from just a small local tree outfit that we pass tree work on to. So it's just a partnership. You know, you got to depend on those guys. I've got electricians, plumbers, um, insulators. uh, obviously tree guys, landscapers, that all we all kind of pass leads around. So if landscaping companies mowing, when this has happened for us, mowing grass, he finds shingles laying in the yard. He tells the homeowner and gives him one of my business cards. Guess what? They love their mowing guy. They're not they if the mowing guy gives them my business card, it I bet it's a 90% close rate. It's just because you're getting such a high level referral.
Yeah.
Same with the tree company. Both of them jobs, they didn't. That neither one of those received a second quote. They never asked. They just, yep, sounds good, do it. The only reason the one today held up as long as it was is because they were waiting on their insurance company to make sure it was going to be a full replacement, but they never received a second quote. They just, it took a week waiting on the adjuster. So, yeah, absolutely. And I need to do better with that myself. I think being part of all of the local chambers in your community is the best way to do that. Go to the local chamber golf outings, go to the dinners, do that stuff. And even if you don't do it because like our chamber, they do like a weekly thing, whether it's a luncheon, a dinner, a coffee, a golf outing, there's always something. But at least try to go once a month to those things because that's where you make those relationships. Um, you go there, you meet them, you hang out, you get to know each other, and now they start passing your name around.
Yeah. Yeah. Those networking things, if you can just do them on a consistent basis, especially if you can find the ones that are like every month, same day of the month or second Friday or whatever, and you just put it on your calendar and you just know like I'm going this every time. Um, yeah, I have something I go to every Friday, at least when I'm in town here in Atlanta. That's like it's networking slash like mentorship. And I just gotten so much value out of that and made so many connections and things that have been valuable. Um, and yeah, it's if you can just make it part of your schedule every month or even every week,
Yeah.
um, then it adds up over time.
That's so because of my geographical location, I don't get much of that. Unfortunately, like there's no BNI groups around here. There's none of that. But honestly, the mastermind group I've been in with John and Dave for a while now has brought a lot of that to me. Not the
Yeah.
referral partners, but that mentorship, that guidance, that you know, coaching. I'm getting coached by guys that live clear across the country that are doing less in sales than I'm doing, but they've got some really good ideas and they're willing to share them and we take them and we grow together. So it's been great.
Yeah. Love that. All right. Well, let's wrap things up for tonight. Thanks everybody that joined us. Lots of good questions tonight. That's always exciting. So thank you for that. Um, and yeah, we'll wrap it up. Anything else you want to add, Scott?
I'm all good.
Good to go. All right. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.